The opening section, Life, Death, Happiness, and Sorrow, from the ballet Akelarre by Thomas Braden. Hi, I'm Greg Kustraba, joined by the Mill Avenue Chamber Players in the K-Bach Performance Studio. They're teaming up with Ballet Arizona for performances of the complete ballet at the Orpheum Theater in Phoenix, March 27th through the 30th. Thomas Braden is the bassoonist in the Mill Avenue Chamber Players, and he's at the microphone. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Greg.
The last time you were here, the quintet played a piece of yours, and now you've brought in a ballet. Tell us the story of the ballet, beginning with the title, Akelarre.
Akelarre came from a few different things. I think I knew I wanted to do a Witch's Sabbath as the theme of the ballet. But at the time, I was actually traveling with my fiance, who is part Basque, in the Basque country in Spain. And Akelarre is the term used for Witch's Sabbath in Basque. Another reason why I picked this term is from the kind of inspired by the paintings of Goya, a Spanish painter around the 18th century, 18th and 19th century. And he has a series of paintings entitled Akelarre, with a slightly different spelling if you're trying to find it. And they were kind of written in a similar vein to what I was thinking about in terms of the inspiration of the ballet itself. It was kind of a rejection of the Spanish Inquisition, and of the superstition that he saw in the masses of people around that time in Spain.
And I know we in the United States have the Salem witch trials. This was a kind of common thing back in the 15th, 16th, 17th centuries, right?
Absolutely. All over Europe, in the United States. And this is a practice we actually see today all over the world, unfortunately.
Now, the underlying theme of the ballet you've written is fear manifested through time. Tell us a little bit about what you're trying to convey in this ballet.
I used Witches' Sabbath as an kind of the front for the idea of this because it is kind of the idea of witches is in the forefront of our mind. It's in our literature. It's in the shows that we watch. We see it everywhere. And it's been present in art for centuries now. But the underlying theme of the ballet kind of comes from the idea that now that we understand witches in our culture in many different ways, some people revering them, some people still afraid of witches to this day, all of this was born from the same emotion and understanding of what a witch is and how that interacts in culture. And that is coming from fear itself. The idea of what a witch is manifested in fear.
It's a fascinating topic for a ballet, and you have lots of musical literature dealing with this as well. I guess Night on Bald Mountain by Mussorgsky, maybe the most famous.
Yeah, absolutely. That's believe I referenced that in the program notes too, I think. Yeah.
Well, the ballet, it's in 5 continuous sections, and you'll perform 3 of them. Now, tell us what's going on in the story with these 3 sections, The Hunt, Remembrance, and Acceptance.
Yeah, the in this section, it starts in movement 3, The Hunt, really without a specific story, just the feeling of terror and the way that comes about. I'm just trying to imagine what it's like to be singled out for committing what is an impossible crime, and then being hunted down and tortured and shunned from your community, and then often before death also having to point someone else out to suffer the same fate. That's a lot of what I was thinking about in this section of the piece, as horrific as that is. The next movement is just like taking a breath and a little bit of space to cope with what we were just thinking about and feeling, and to remember the tens of thousands of people that have gone through a situation like that. And then we get a little taste of the last movement titled Acceptance. And that is just a reflection of the way, I think what I was talking about earlier, how those things were very horrible in the past. The way that they've been brought into our culture now can mean a lot of different things. And the goal was to have it feel like maybe a children's song or a children's game, in the same way that we know the horrific events surrounding Ring Around the Rosie, but it is now a cute child song that we sing.
3 excerpts now from Thomas Braden's ballet Akelarre, played by the Mill Avenue Chamber Players, The Hunt, Remembrance, and Acceptance, from the KBach Performance Studio on 89.5 KBach. three excerpts from the ballet Akelarre by Thomas Braden. We heard The Hunt, Remembrance, and Acceptance. The Mill Avenue Chamber Players, flutist Sabrina who also doubled on piccolo, oboist and English hornist Nicholas Flickinger, clarinetist Jonathan Robinson, bassoonist Thomas Braden, and hornist Rose French performing here in the K-Bach Performance Studio. The ensemble will perform the complete ballet with Ballet Arizona March 27th through the 30th. Tom, tell us a little bit about how this collaboration came about. Did Ballet Arizona come to you first, or did you say, hey, I've got this great idea for a ballet. What can you do with it?
Yeah, they actually kind of came to me. We have a really good friend, Jim Smith, who was on the board of Ballet Arizona for a number of years. And he was also, very luckily, a fan of the Mill Ave Chamber Players, and even took horn lessons with Rose French, our hornist. And so he had heard a number of my compositions over concerts that we had gone to. And a number of years back, there was a possible opportunity to get some of my compositions into like a project. And he paired me up with the choreographer Nayan Iovino. Unfortunately, that first project did not come to pass. They just didn't happen, but that's okay. Years down the line, when Nayan had another opportunity to work on his own ballet, he asked me to join him. So I'm very thankful to Nayan in remembering me and the conversations that we had in that initial process and bringing it back to life a couple of years later.
Now, this ballet isn't the only one on their program, right?
No, this is the Spring Mix Concert. So there were actually three kind of shorter ballets, the first one being Vivaldi, and the second one with the music of Radiohead, and then the third on the program will be Akelarre.
That's pretty diverse.
And fairly diverse music, yes.
Now, the next section of the ballet you'll be performing here is called Nightmares. Set this one up just a little bit for us.
All right, this is coming out of the first movement, which is really just about life and how beautiful it is, but also how difficult it is. And within the seeds of that being difficult come confusion and superstition and fear. And this second movement comes out of that difficulty and confusion and fear and starts spinning into what is a nightmare. So what I kind of picture in this movement, there's no specific story, but it is human beings concocting in their mind some of the worst things they could possibly imagine.
From the ballet Akelarre by Thomas Braden, this is Nightmares, performed by the Mill Avenue Chamber Players in the K-Bach Performance Studio on Classical 89.5 K-Bach. Nightmares from the ballet Akelarre by Thomas Brayton. We heard the Mill Avenue Chamber Players, flutist Sabrina Hu, oboist who played English horn in that movement, Nicholas Flickinger, clarinetist Jonathan Robinson, bassoonist and composer Thomas Brayton, and hornist Rose French from the K-Bach Performance Studio. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you so much for having us, Greg.
The Mill Avenue Chamber Players will join Ballet Arizona for performances of the complete ballet Akelarre, March 27th through 30th at the Orpheum Theater in Phoenix. You can learn more and purchase tickets at balletaz.org. Our recording engineer is Dario Miranda. I'm Greg Kustraba. You can hear this interview and performance again at our website, performance.kbach.org.